Let's get to Chief Jarome Bell. Jarome Bell running for U.S. Congress in the 2nd District in Virginia. Hey, Jerome, thanks for being with us. Tell us about your campaign, and then I want to get to Loudoun County and what your thoughts are on that.
Hey, John, thanks for having me back, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
It's always good to be back with you. I'm running for Congress again 2022. And, I'm America First candidate. Of course, I ran on America First agenda last year. I ran on an immigration moratorium last year because of what's going on down at our southern border. This year, I'm definitely, again, running on the election integrity because I still feel that we have to find out what happened on November 3rd, 2020 before we can actually move forward. We need to make sure that we do have free and fair elections. And, again, we have to really get intact our southern borders because, John, we are being invaded. There's a systematic plan going on for the United States, and that's for us to be invaded and through our southern borders. And also now with refugee status, we heard a story that Joe Biden is flying illegals from Texas and putting them in New York and Jacksonville and places like this. So, I really feel that we need fighters going up in 2022 because I think 2022 is going to be one of the biggest midterm elections.
You mean like if we take over Congress? So let me get this straight, Jerome, just so I can get your line of thinking here, just so I can paraphrase it. So what you're saying is, let's say we win 50 or 60 seats in the House and take over. So what you're saying is, if we take over with like the 19 Quislings, the collaborators that signed up on the 1.2 fake transportation bill, the Republican senators legitimizing Biden's nonsensical regime as bipartisanship, or if we have another John Boehner as Speaker or another Paul Ryan that doesn't do anything and becomes part of the Uni Party, what you're saying is that that's not going to get us anywhere. Is that what I heard?
That's not going to get us anywhere, John. I mean, people talk about the Democrats and how bad the Democrats are. Well, we have rhinos in our midst that's just as bad, and you mentioned 19 of them that's there now. No, so we can't have any weak-kneed Republicans in Congress anymore. We need to have fighters. We need to have people that's going to go toe-to-toe with the Democrats and not capitulate to their leftist agendas. And, so we definitely have to take those seats back, and we definitely have to have a strong speaker when we do that.
If you're elected to Congress and the Republicans take over, which they are, and you've got an equal shot in the 2nd District, I think the Republicans are going to win the 2nd. So I think whoever is the nominee is going to Washington. If you go to D.C. as the Congress representative of the 2nd District in Virginia, this is a seat now held by Elaine Loria. First order of business: are you going to vote for Kevin McCarthy for Speaker? Yes or no?
Absolutely not, period.
So you're not going to vote for McCarthy?
I will not vote for Kevin McCarthy. I believe Kevin McCarthy is part of the issue with the Rhino group and with those 19 that you mentioned. I believe Kevin McCarthy is one of the reasons why the election was allowed to be stolen from President Trump. I mean, John, to be honest, if we're talking about how to fix a problem, you really have to identify what the problem is, and you have to work our way back to November 3rd, and you have to understand what happened January 6th as well. But I'm a House Freedom Caucus guy, so I would be more likely to vote for a House Freedom Caucus member to be Speaker of the House.
All right. Jerome, I want to get to, right now I'm focused on the Virginia gubernatorial race. We can focus on your House race later. Let's get to the Virginia governor's race. How does Glenn Youngkin win in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from today?
Glenn Youngkin has to continue to be strong on education. I believe Terry McAuliffe gave him a gift, by opening his mouth, saying that parents didn't have the right to decide what was being taught in the schools. I think that was a huge mistake for Terry McAuliffe, and it opened the door for Glenn Youngkin. So Glenn Youngkin has to continue to press on that. Glenn Youngkin has to continue to press on not having CRT coming into our schools. And he also has to press on the issue of students being safe, not just transgender students, but all students being safe, with some of the laws that have been passed, like SB 868 and these other LGBTQ bills. It makes our girls and it makes our schools less safe, and he has to really focus on that. And I think he has an end now, and so he really has to be strong. And I hope he's coming strong tonight with the announcement on something of that nature.
Well, he's got a big announcement tonight in Fairfax County on education. We're going to see what that is. And now, Jarome Bell with us. Jarome running for Congress, 2nd District. Tell us a little bit about your military background, Jarome.
I'm 27-year retired Navy Chief Petty Officer. I served under 8 presidents, and I had a great career, and I wouldn't change that for anything at all. I retired out in Norfolk, out the Admiral Staff at Naval Reserve Forces Command after 27 years. And, I did a job called Safe for Flight, John, to be honest. One of my most important jobs. And if people don't understand what Safe for Flight is, I actually signed our airplanes out saying that they were good to go, that they would go on their mission, they would come back, and everybody on board would be safe. I had thousands of lives in my hands, responsible in my hands every single day. And so that's what I want to do for the 2nd District. I want to make the 2nd District safe for flight. John, I want to make us, robust again. I want these small businesses to come back robust. I want to open back up Virginia again, because with the mandates and the close downs of our small businesses, John, it's just been, hell on people, and we need to get that back, and I plan to do that.
I appreciate that. Jarome Bell with us, running for Congress, 2nd District. A couple other people's already in the race. State Senator Jen Kiggins is in. Jarome, she's the early favorite going into that. But we got a long way off, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. I want to get to Loudoun County, this cover-up that's going on there with the Loudoun County schools, the law that passed in Virginia by the whack job left-wing caucus of the Corps General Assembly that basically allows a school district not to report a sexual assault to either the police or the parents because they said it was racist. Now you got an alleged rape of a freshman girl in that school plus another school. Your thoughts on that?
I think it's insane, that happened. And, but that's what happens when you get Marxists and communists in power, like we have up in Richmond. We pass out these draconian laws. And it's not only the Democrats' fault, because we have some Republicans, rhinos, whatever you want to call them, that's voted, with them. Like SB 868, the Virginia Values Act. That's like that was the most robust and sweeping LGBTQ legislation in the nation. Started right here in Virginia, and that really paved the way for everything that's what you see now going on to these schools. And we had nine Republicans that voted for that bill, to pass that bill. So. And I guess they call themselves progressives, but what they've done, they just made, it's a war on women and it's a war on little girls, and it just made the little girls less safe in school and women less safe in public arenas. And so, I feel for the dad. I don't have any girls, I have 3 boys, but I can imagine what that dad is going through. And for him to be arrested like that and accosted, and for them to show that nationwide, like he actually did something wrong before they came out with the story, before it came out that his little girl's rape had been covered up. I think that people should be held accountable. I'm glad Loudoun County is ground zero pretty much on everything in Virginia, with the CRT and also with this. And I hope one school board member stepped down. I think others should step down, and definitely the superintendent should be fired. And I'm glad that the citizens of Loudoun County are holding him responsible.
If you're in Congress, what are you going to do, Jarome Bell, about the situation, the open civ at the border? Because Congress, can't really do anything. That's in the hands of the executive branch, and we're going to be stuck with Biden for a while, even if we take control. If you were in Congress, what would you actively do to solve that situation?
Well, like I said, there's not much we can do. Hopefully we can impeach Biden. I would definitely be in favor of impeachment, and if we take over the House, definitely go with like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's filed articles of impeachment. I would definitely be on board with that. But I would also, I would like to see vets, step up down there in Texas and on the border and try to protect the border. I believe Governor Abbott is, doing some things right to try to protect the border. But I believe he can do more, being the governor of Texas and like the governor of Arizona in these places where they come across. But as I mean, I would vote definitely for legislation to put the National Guard, let's say, on the border, or have military presence down on the border to beef up the border patrol down there. But like I say, it's up to the executive, and sometimes our hands are tied in that. But I would definitely push forward any type of legislation to secure our border.
I get you're not voting for McCarthy, but what is your really goal in running for Congress? This is your second run. Obviously, you're inspired by something because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of money. You got to raise money all the time. I think last time you went up against who? Scott Taylor, right?
Yes, Scott Taylor won
Taylor,
on primary, yes.
Previous incumbent, had a lot of friends like me. Now you're going up against Jen Kagan, state senator. She's kind of the anointed one, if you will. Why are you putting yourself through this again, Jarome?
Well, it's time for me to serve again, John. I took an oath back in 1985, and that oath never expires. I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And we have domestic enemies in our midst, and Virginia needs an America First fighter to fix these big problems now. I believe that we need a fighter who can't be bought, a fighter who won't owe favors because of, let's say, endorsements or lobbyist money or people that they, aspire to be, maybe, and, I would say kissing rings, I guess you can say, but that fighter is me. And I believe that I'm the only one that can beat Elaine Luria. She has the Bloomberg, Soros, and Pelosi money. And I believe that to be able to beat the Democrat, you have to be able to go into their arena and play, in the same spectrum that they can play in. I can go and I can play in Elaine Luria's arena. I don't believe you say Jen Kiggans is the front runner, but I don't believe that Jen Kiggans can go and say some of the things that I can say down in Elaine Luria's arena to get those votes that we need to come over to the Republican Party and to the conservative nation to win. And we have to dismantle the racial division. We have to take back our free speech. We have to block linguistic programming where it's like white supremacy, equity, the critical race theory, and all this anti-American rhetoric that these Democrats throw in our faces. And we can't cave to claims of racism, and we can't run and hide like this weak GOP has been doing for decades. And that's me, John. I'm that candidate that that can do that. I don't believe that Jen Kiggans is strong enough to do that. I don't believe that that she's able to roll back this violent Democrat, the corruption overreach into our lives that took down President Trump. I mean, she actually said that she believed Biden was the duly elected president of the United States. I don't, John. So certain things to where I stand firm on and I don't capitulate on. Just because I may be called certain names. And I won't cave to the Democrat terrorists running around calling me a racist or a bigot or a traitor. Because they've spent $1 billion against us, John. And I think I'm that fight. I think I'm that person that could bridge that gap between people that really don't trust Democrats. You hear a lot, well, black people always vote for Democrats or things like that. Well, it's not only that because they just vote for Democrats, they just don't trust any Republican. And I believe that I'm the one that can bridge that gap between, the ones that have these forgotten communities and these forgotten people that's been put to the proverbial back of the bus. I can bring them over to the conservative nation where, I don't think my opponent can do that.
Well, it might be time for change, right? I mean, Lawyer's won twice. She beat Scott Taylor, a friend of mine. I love Scott, good guy. She beat him twice. I get it. Things went down with his campaign. But now it just might be time for change. I mean, things are different, Jarome. Things are very different now than they were in 2018, 2020. Things are just different. And you look at the direction of the country. You look at the open border policy. You look at refugees coming in and nobody knows where they are, and we're paying for that. You look at another $10 trillion, $8.5 trillion in spending that we can't possibly pay for. You look at the war on parents, war on work, war on education, critical race theory, debt, interest rates go up, the economy collapses, supply chains, empty shelves. Jarome, things are a little bit different now, right? Stakes are a little bit higher. There's really not a lot of time to play around here and figure, well, let me send this person to Congress, and according to my flow chart, this person's going to raise more money. They get a better chance of winning. Winning a Pyrrhic victory, the hell's that do for us, right? I want fighters, dude. I want some of these guys to go fight and stand up for my family. And if you're not going to do that, I got no use for you whatsoever. Honestly, I just don't. Time is short, Jarome. The hourglass is running out. Thanks for being with us. People want more info on your campaign, Jarome. Where do they go?
Yes, they can go to my website, JaromeBellForCongress.com, and you have to spell it JaromeBellFor Congress.com.